I want to say you're crushing it because you hired us, right?
Right.
But let's like, what is your biggest mistake? Is it on interviews? Is it on equipment? Is it on how to interview? Is it on how many episodes? Is it waiting to start? What would you say?
Yeah, my biggest mistake was definitely waiting and trying and not being honest with myself on how long things would take. I wanted to get moving quicker, but I also wanted to be perfect. And so I found myself telling everybody knew, like it had been so long, and I go to all these functions and people know who I am in the airline industry. So everybody's expecting this. They even see me. I would bring this, like all my gear, I bring it to conventions and I set up and I talk to people with it, mostly just so they find out that I'm doing a podcast. And so everybody was asking, even my sponsor was like, when is this freaking episode going to drop, the first episode? And so my biggest mistake was not like, oh, it's coming soon. Oh, it's coming soon. Oh, it's coming soon. And not being like, and not just being honest with them and myself. Like, we are recording, we're working through it. We're hoping to launch sometime soon, but I don't have a date. And so it was my inability to give people bad news. So that's probably one of my biggest mistakes. And I think that's tough. So you got to be honest with yourself.
You mean that you were taking these interviews and that you were telling the people that you were interviewing when it was going to be launched, and then it took longer, and so that made you feel bad, or am I not getting it?
No, the people around me that wanted to listen to the show and my sponsors, they wanted to know when they can start listening, and they want to know what it is and all the things. And so, but as I was putting it together, since I was starting from point zero to an actual podcast, I wanted it to be just right. So we had to get our copy right. We had to get, I went through 3 iterations of the podcast art. We actually had like Chat GPT or the design AI thing create my podcast art. It was super cool. We had the, your team, we had the discussion about music, and we had audio recordings, and I went through the audio recordings 3 or 4 times, and I personally didn't want that. And I ended up probably, I love it because it's my daughter doing the voice for the podcast launch. But, I just use her because I'm like, gosh, I love you and I love your voice and I want to hear it all the time. So, but then we had to do the organization of what episodes are going to come out when. And then we had to do okay, you've got to do an intro. Okay, you've got to do the outgoing parts of it, and the ad for the company, and you have to do a sponsor ad, and then all those things. Like, your team's super fast. It's like me that gets it, that's slow with it. And I mean, if you listen to my podcast and you go to the last, I don't know, 90 seconds and you hear it, like, you're going to hear the exact same words with my company written instead of Adam's Grow Your Show written, because it's so good. And even my intro is exactly your intro with my voice. So like my like trailer episode.
Yeah.
So all of it, man, like it's me slow rolling everything, and I'm not honest with myself. And so what I need to do is kick myself in the tail and propel myself forward. And I think that's what
Propel.
the podcaster, propel, man. That's it. That's what your podcaster needs to do. Like, know that you're good enough, and know that you can put out a strong product, and know that you are awesome, and just do it and just step forward and call. I mean, like, Adam's not going to hard sell you. Like, give him a shout. He'll chat with you. I mean, he calls me